This story time was going to be the 10th episode of my story time series, but I don't know, I got carried away doing something, but it's been a while since I've told another story. I've been kind of busy working here, there, everywhere else, trying to just stay alive in life, you know what I mean? But this story time takes place when I was probably in middle school. This story time takes place about around that time. So I think I was like in the 7th grade. Like, I don't think I've told anyone this, but my 7th grade year was the best time of my school life. I remember it so vividly. I had so much fun in the 7th grade. Only 10th grade comes close to topping it. So, what was going on in middle school or in the 7th grade? Y'all might be asking, what made it so fun? Well, my mother asked me, because it was funny, I was getting in trouble a lot that year. And I was telling her, she was like, Carlos, I thought you said this was going to be a better year for you and stuff, whatnot, right? And I told her, I said, Mama, this is a better year. I was failing in classes and stuff, right? I was getting like 26s, 30s and stuff. But I wasn't trying, but I think I was at the same time I wasn't. But she told me I thought this was going to be a good year for you. I responded back to just what I was saying. So anyway, this is about the fight club that we had in middle school going down. And y'all know in the movie Fight Club, rule number 1, what do y'all do not do in Fight Club? Do not talk about Fight Club. And that's what I'm about to do today. So I cannot pinpoint where Fight Club started in middle school, right? So about this time when we were all going to lunch and stuff, like we would have like an hour. I forgot how long our lunches were in middle school, but we were all just eat our lunch, go into the line, get it, and sit down. We'll be chatting, talking up with our friends and stuff. I remember that the group of friends I had, we were all at the end of the table. It was like 20 of us, so everybody remembers the long tables that we had in middle school or in high school. But when I got up to high school, the tables were circular, you know what I mean? So when we were sitting at those tables, we would, be doing boy stuff, roasting on each other, whatnot, this and that, until it got carried away one day. Now, I remember this real vividly. I mentioned these names before, Stafford and Robertson. Those are my 2 best friends back in middle school. I've known Stafford for my whole life since 1st grade. Something that happened between those 2, and they started fighting, whatever. I can't say they started fighting, but it was something that went down to where they almost started fighting in the cafeteria, but we defused the situation. But when we got in class, right after we were going outside, that's when they got in the classroom and they started fighting and stuff. Stafford, for his little puny, skinny self back in school, he grew some balls that day and he decided to stand up to Robertson. They both walked in the classroom. I looked. Stafford walked right back there to him, and he had pushed him. Now, mind you, Stafford cannot fight. Back in middle school, he could not fight at all. His post-up game was all weird. His swinging was all weird. Cause I'm gonna try to paint how he will fight. Now, I remember. I remember how Stafford used to fight back in middle school. It was like, put yourself in my position, you're looking at a person like face to face, you're getting ready to fight him. He would get low to the ground and he would start coming, like he would come in and start swinging from the sides. And he would throw his fist in and like flick his wrist while he's swinging at the same time trying to hit you. I'm like, bro, it's the fun. That's how he was fighting. So when he got in the classroom, he started doing that bull crap to Robertson, and then Robertson laid a good one in on him, punched him in the cheek, right? And then when that happened, Stafford looked at him. He came in, ran, and pushed him through all the desks, and Robertson hit the ground so hard they was getting ready to get up and throw down then too. I'm like, uh-oh. I was looking, I said, looks like our little buddy group is over with. But the teacher had walked in, right? So I went home for the night, right? And we all came back the next day. This dude named Mackie, the one that was making fun of me because I had a crush on this girl in a few episodes ago. He asked me, he said, hey man, so I heard that Stafford and Robertson was getting ready to throw down. I'm like, oh yeah, it was a tie. To me, it was a tie, to be honest with you. So Mackie, he was telling me, he said, I believe they should have a rematch. I'm like, a rematch? I'm like, bro, that fight wasn't really nothing. So what happened was, Mackie, he was like, yeah, let them get a rematch in. I'm like, okay. So we told them to, hey, if y'all want a rematch, meet each other in the bathroom, whatever, right? So when they went in there, they was throwing down. Stafford, he got obliterated as per usual because he was trying to use his little swingy flick the wrist technique. So he got whooped right there and he got beat down. So I'm gonna say that's where the middle school fight club maybe started. I'm not too sure. So now on to the meat of the story, right? After that happened, it kind of caused a chain effect with all 20 of us dudes sitting at that table, right? Mackie one day, he was telling us, he was like, yeah man, Carlos, I heard you got beef with such and such. I'm like, do me and Robertson got beef? And it was, oh, no. I remember what happened. I remember this what happened. For me, it was me and Stafford that started fighting with each other. And it was over food. I took one of Stafford's chicken nuggets off of his tray while he wasn't looking. And then I said, hey, Stafford, are you missing something off your plate? He looked down. He said, you fat F. He said, you fat F. He said, I'd have slapped the mess out of you. And then I said, oh, then Mackie said, I bet you ain't gonna slap the mess out of him. And here goes Stafford. He said, I will slap the mess out of him. I said, all right. So every time we would get done eating, everyone would go outside and we would sit around, or we'd just run around, be, douchebags outside, whatever, right? So we all gathered up, formed a little circle, and I'm basically just taunting Stafford the whole time. He trying to hit me and stuff, and I'm moving around, dodging and stuff, this and that. And so I finally trip him. When he trips, he just hits the ground hard. This one, everybody just like, ooh. And Stafford, he looking at me all mad and stuff. He gets up and he just puts his hands in his pocket and just stands beside me and stuff. Because at the end of the day, we were still friends, whatever. And all of a sudden, this other dude that we knew, he was like, hey man, I forgot. He pointed at his homeboy. He said, hey, me and you, we getting in this right now. Because we had a big old circle. It was like 20 of us dudes and stuff. But the teacher, they were coming over there checking on what we were doing and stuff. We had to mask it like we wasn't doing nothing over there. We was having roasting competitions and stuff, and just everybody, when they would get too out of control, we would all calm it down a little bit, have two people in the center just pretend like they weren't doing nothing. So teachers was coming over there checking what we was doing and stuff, and the two other dudes, they started fighting in the middle. They started fighting. And they weren't punching each other, they were slapping. Like, we had something called slap boxing back then. They probably still do it now, but I'm not too sure. So anyway, they started slap boxing in the middle. They was doing their thing, whatever. And the funny thing about it was, when they started doing their thing, two other dudes, they was like, yeah, let's me and you next. I'm like, oh, what the heck? I'm looking around, I'm like, bro. I said, are people really doing this? Are they really trying to get, well, we changing this into a fight club? Now, I remember all this real vividly. It was funny to me. So the next time what happened was me and Robertson, we were gonna throw down in the middle, right? And everybody was hyped for it because they was like, all right, man, all right, it's you and him, so y'all both beat up Stafford, so y'all at the championship now. That's how we was treating this bull crap. I remember seeing people putting down money, who gonna win, me or Robertson or whatever. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I said, I really pray to God this is not a real fight that we going into. So me and Robertson went into the arena. Robertson posted up, and then here I go, I'm slapping at him and stuff and all that. He ducking and dodging, and while he ducking and dodging and stuff, I come around, we both fall on the ground, right? Everybody looking, everybody screaming and stuff. Everybody's just screaming their head off, just like you know how a real fight would be going on and stuff. And then Robertson came around and slapped me real hard in the face. Look, I'm like, okay. So you've chosen death then, huh? You've chosen death, Robertson. So you know what I did? I got up off the ground and then I jumped on top of him. I put him in a headlock and I started dragging him across the ground. And then here go Mackie in the background. He said, "Beat this, Carlos! Beat this! Beat him up! I'm like, bro, everybody was just sitting there yelling and screaming. Robertson got mad. And then when he got mad, right, he just looked at me. He just started, we started balling our fists up together. And then they broke us apart like, all right, let's chill out with that, y'all. Y'all need to chill out for a second. This is all fun and games right here. But, you know, us teenage boys, we couldn't have no type of fun without getting sensitive or butthurt about it, right? So anyway, when me and Robertson, we got up, we looked at each other. We was real mad at each other because I remember his eyes were kind of red and stuff. He had got paddled later on that day for that little fight club we had, right? So when that happened, he was mad at me. He was trying to roast on me and all that. And I just brushed him off, and then Stafford, he yelled out at him saying, "I know you ain't trying to roast on nobody. That's why you lost that fight." And then it just got out of hand real quickly between Robertson and Stafford. And I'm sitting there instigating everybody in this group, everybody in the circle. They're like, ooh, you know how people usually do when they be in circles and stuff. It was ooh, doing all the bull crap and stuff. And I was right next to Robertson. I was telling him what to say. I was talking in his ear. Robertson looking at me. Y'all see how crazy that is, right? Y'all see how crazy that is? Me and him just got done fighting, but I'm whispering in his ear what to say to him. And then Robertson would say it. And then Stafford couldn't fight, but he could roast. He was responding back with equally devastating things, man. I'm telling you. It was terrible. I'm sitting there, ooh, and Robertson look at me. He's pushing me. He said, "Man, shut up, Carlos." I came back around. Everybody looking at me. I looked at everybody else and I looked at Robertson. I can't believe I said this bull crap. I really said it. It was that one line from Stewie Griffin when he was like, "Oh, Switch, you bring it on, bitch. Now how you gonna act?" I said that, right? Everybody just started freaking out. They were like, screaming and yelling and all that. And everybody just looked at me. They was like, "Oh, I know that's right, Carlos, right?" So like 4 or 5 weeks are passing and stuff, and everything is going good at our middle school fight club, right? People going in there, people throwing down and stuff. People are just throwing, having fun and stuff, right? We even had this big dude named JJ. He was real, the one I was telling y'all about when the dude took my soon-to-be girlfriend from me and stuff. And he was in there having fun too. I remember one day he looked at me. He said, "Carlos, you remember when you threw that water on me in science class?" I'm like, "Oh no, I tried to run. That somebody tripped me, right? And I hit the ground." He picked me up by the neck. And then he put me over his shoulder and threw me on the ground. I'm sitting there, I'm thriving in pain and stuff like, y'all know how that woman was when she fell and hit the ground from the berries and all that. That's how I was. I'm like, So, and then there was another event where Stafford, I don't know who it was. I was fighting in the middle, but I was losing real bad. He was slapping the mess out of me. And all of a sudden, somebody flying drop kicked me in the back, like literally. Bow! Hit me, like kicked me in the back, running style, and I hit the ground. I'm looking, I'm like, bro, who the heck? And then all of a sudden, everybody came in and started kicking and jumping to me. I'm like, bro, I'm a fighter. Why is everybody jumping to me? It was at random though. And then all of a sudden, bro, I remember I'm sitting down on the ground laughing about this situation, right? Because it was so crazy to me that I've seen people literally, like, the loser would get jumped in the circle, like, at the end of our lunch period, right? people would be getting jumped. Like literally, people would come in and start stomping them and stuff. But the whole crowd was so big that none of the teachers couldn't see it. They thought we was having a roasting contest, whatever, right? Like usual, and we'll be freestyling in there and all that. But the fighter, it was crazy. The person that would lose would get jumped in the middle by everyone else. Like the whole crowd, they would go in and start just jumping them for no reason. And so Stafford just one day decides to kick me in the back. And I guess that was just the blood in the water for everyone else to start getting in there and start jumping me. But this the thing about it, I came back around and then I landed a good blow on the dude. And I hit him. And I started winning, but they still jumped me afterwards, right? So that was that situation when that happened. So I think it was maybe like 4 or 5 days later, right? We're on a football field. Robertson did something, and all the dudes that was in our little circle and stuff, they all came running over because they seen me and him posting up with each other, right? I came in, I speared Robertson, and then here come Mackey. Mackey gonna take off his belt and start hitting. Mackey takes off his belt and he starts swinging at me and Robertson. We sitting there in the middle, just we're throwing down. Mackey just comes in, break it up, break it up, break it up. Wait till the whole squad get over here, break it up. Bro, Mackey came around and wrapped me in the back of the neck, man. It was not good. It wasn't good at all. It was painful. So time is just passing, going on, right? I remember this one situation where it was this heavyset white guy, and then this other dude named JT. JT had stole my iPod. I think that same year, and he was trying to get out of giving it back to me, but he had sold my iPod and stuff, right? So we had came back from a field trip, whatever, right? And Mackie had heard that I heard that JT and that big heavyset white dude got beef with each other, right? So the whole group of boys, we all went outside, we found them. We said, Mackie, it was me and Mackie. We was trying to start some bull crap between the two, right? And they looked at the white dude walked over there to JT. He said, I heard you was talking crap. He was like, no, I wasn't talking crap to you. And here, this is where it starts going downhill, right? He was like, no, I ain't been talking crap about you. You need to get out of my face, whatever. And we formed a big old circle. We trapped him in the middle so we could sit there and watch it, right? We was all just standing there smiling, like ready for the fight to happen. JT and them, JT kept his hands in his pocket saying, make the first move, man. You make the first move. The white dude just standing there just nonchalantly waiting, and then we all standing. We were like, bro, come on then. It's some girls came over there. They asking us what's going on. We said we waiting for them to fight right here. So I remember this part. This part was funny to me, right? So what had happened was a gigantic circle formed. Girls, boys, everyone, like teachers were watching, right? Like the two fighters, they were just standing in the middle, just standing there. JT was biting his lip like, just standing there. And I don't know what happened. I think it was Mackie. Mackie ran in, right? And he pushed JT. He pushed JT into the white dude, right? I'm sitting there, I'm like, uh-oh. I said, here we go. They about to start fighting now. Mackie done started it. JT got up and looked at him and walked back, sitting there. I'm like, man, I said, that's some bull crap, bro. I was really sitting there thinking that Mackie was gonna push him in there and they was gonna start throwing down for the life of it, right? But no, they didn't. They didn't fight at all. It was a waste of our time, whatever, right? So like the very next day, when after all that crap was going down, they put me up against I don't know who they put me up against, but we was having like a little bracket competition. And they put me in there with this one dude. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm sitting in there having to throw down. I'm throwing down with him, right? We slapping each other. And I remember, I heard out the corner of my eye, I heard it. Robertson screamed. I looked. He was laying on the ground, just sitting there, shaking and stuff. I'm like, what happened to him? And then I looked at Stafford over there laughing. I'm like, oh man. I said, Stafford done pulled out his secret move. Stafford done kicked this boy in the balls, man. And all of a sudden, dude came around. I was distracted by that. Dude came around and wrapped the mess out of me with his hand. And then here we go, just start fighting again, right? I win the fight. And I'm like, okay, cool. I get my backpack, my suitcase that I had at the time in middle school, put it in my backpack, and then I'm going on to class. I get to the bathroom, right? And then I take a piss. I'm sitting there, peeing, just minding my business. I hear the door open. No, I walked out. I'm washing my hands in the sink. The door opens. Everyone that was out there at the fight club walked in, looked at me. One dude, I remember his name. I'm gonna say his real name. His name was Pernell. He looked, he had a big old crap-eating grin on his face. I looked at him, he just smiling. Everybody else in the group just smiling, right? I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh no. Well, I said, they about to jump me in this bathroom. I thought back, I didn't lose. That's the thing about it. I did not lose that fight. So when that happened, I was cornered by the sink. I tried to take off running. Once somebody grabbed me, right? I was right there at the door. They grabbed me and threw me in the corner, and somebody held the door shut. They started kicking it, like literally. They started kicking, punching and stomping me. I remember I seen Stafford. Stafford came down and kicked me in the face. He was kicking me and everybody was just kicking and beating. I'm like, Everybody just sitting there just beating the dog crap out of me, right? I'm like, dude, I said, I won the fight though. I won. And then everybody ran out. Here go Mackie. He gonna look back in the bathroom and look at me. Don't you tell nobody what happened in here today. And Mackie gonna run off. I'm like, oh man. And then this girl walked in the bathroom. She looked at me. I'm sitting there on the ground like, God dang it, they done got me. And then she was like, dang. I looked, I seen her. I'm like, oh no. A teacher walked in. She looked at me. She said, what happened in there? What just happened? I'm like, oh shoot. I said, I'm gonna have to tell on everyone. She said, if you don't tell us what happened, we gonna suspend you. I'm like, oh no. So the police officers came over there and stuff, right? He looked at me and then he said, so I'm gonna need for you to give me all their names and stuff that jumped you in the bathroom and how long y'all been having this little fight ring going on, right? I didn't want to tell because I knew they was probably gonna jump me afterwards, right? So I'm sitting there, I'm telling them, he said, so what I need for you to do is write down everyone's name that was in the thing and for everyone that jumped you in the bathroom a while ago. I'm sitting there, I'm like, man. So I had to write everyone's names down or I was going to get suspended myself. He said it'll be a lenient sentence. And he said, we'll let you go and we'll just paddle everyone that got you, right? I was writing everyone's names down and stuff. So I took that chance to get back at some of my bullies that was bullying me then, right? I was writing names down, just writing names down. I put like 95% of the people in there. I had to tell on Robertson. I had to tell on Stafford. I didn't tell on Mackie because he was the ringleader of it, right? And I told on this one dude, his name was Dyron. He didn't have nothing to do with it at all. I don't know why I put his name down. And then he looked at, I remember they pulled him into the office. He said, you jumped him in that bathroom? I'm like, no, I didn't jump him in that bathroom. And then Mr. Blackstone, may God rest his soul, right? He started paddling him. He got 3 licks. And another dude, Robertson, he came in there. Y'all remember in one episode how Robertson got paddled, right? Robertson was the one that was screaming the loudest in the bathroom, right? I mean, screaming the loudest in there, just getting paddled. And then so the teacher lied to me, right? He said, the police officers and people lied to me saying, since you're the one that was fighting in the little ring and stuff that y'all had, we gonna put you in ISS for 2 days. I'm like, oh my God, bro, ISS was so boring. And they treated it like jail too, right? So for lunch, what they gave us for lunch, they gave us freaking peanut butter jelly sandwiches with milk. Yeah, y'all heard that right. We didn't get to eat none of the food that was in the cafeteria. that day. They gave us peanut butter jelly sandwiches with milk, which that's kind of a disturbing idea to me for kids that go into ISS. They you have to eat that crap. So but I had to tell on everyone, right? So when I told on everyone, the middle school fight club, it got shut down from there, and from then on out, the dudes, they broke up our little group, whatever. So it was just me, Robertson, and Stafford again. So everyone else went on about their business. The whole group was just broken up. Most of them was just in there for the fights and stuff. So yeah, man. It was fun going down memory lane thinking about this stuff, man. It was pretty cool going back thinking about all this stuff. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if y'all did, please hit the like button or do me a favor, subscribe. The Ballad of Nancy Bell is still getting worked on. I'm still trying to get a lot of stuff together, so episode 2 will be out here in the next following month or so, or maybe in a few weeks, because I got all the scenes together and everything's just going good. So anyway, hit that like button for me and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. And if you guys want to, this video will continue as it is going now, so if you guys want to watch the rest of this video, go ahead. So I will see you guys in the next story time. Peace out.